Hello everyone, my name's Jeremy. A few months ago, I made a video which talked about how to identify your purpose in life. After reviewing that video, I don't think that I was as clear as I could have been, or I probably should have given specific examples of how or the ways that I identified my purpose in life. So first, let me start off by saying that I feel my purpose in life is to help people operate at their highest potential through self-awareness. What does that mean to me? I feel that we are born in life, or when we come into the world, we are very self-aware as babies and toddlers. That's why kids are very honest and very blunt, and they can pick up when people are good and when people are bad, and they have no filter. When we are socialized, when we go through systems like the education system and housing system, transportation system, every system there is possible, our self-awareness is dwindled down because we are conditioned to be filtered and or fit into what is deemed normal. And thus, we end up trying to survive and not operate from a place of self-awareness as we were born into the world. So to give you an analogy, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy goes to Oz with the intent of talking to the Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy first gets to Oz, she's interacting with this machine, which represents our physical body, our thoughts, our emotions, when in actuality, Oz is the presence behind the curtain. That's who you truly are. And when we recognize that we are the person or the presence or the being or the essence behind the curtain, that is true self-awareness. My hope in helping people recognize that is they can make favorable decisions as they move throughout life. What happens when you operate more from, I'll say, a spiritual lens versus a physical lens being you trying to survive, not really operating from a self-aware place, in comparison to a spiritual lens when you're looking for the deeper meaning and intent and lessons within life, specifically circumstances and people. When you look through life through that lens, you have space between what is happening in life to you, which is actually for you, and how you respond. So in other words, if I am driving down the road and somebody cuts me off through a spiritual lens or a physical lens, I would get upset, I would get frustrated. But through a spiritual lens, I would pause and say, I'm being triggered emotionally. So why am I being triggered? And then through reflection, meditation, or maybe even a mental health professional, you might be able to trace that back to some trauma that may have happened in your life, which is not you, but something that happened and is a part of your life story. So I hope that that's clear. So help people operate at their highest potential through self-awareness. How did I find out what my purpose was? So I feel that there are ingredients to a recipe, and that recipe makes a dish, and that dish, i.e. your purpose, is then served to other people, which then positively impacts their life, whether they want to accept it or not. It doesn't mean that just because you poured into somebody with your purpose, and they don't apply it consistently, that you failed. No, your job is done, right? So the first ingredient is lessons that are with the intent of helping undo things that have happened to your family line. So for example, mental illness is something that I've experienced on both sides of my family. My brother died by suicide on my father's side, so my brother. And then I'm my mom's only child, but my mom's sister died by suicide. Both suffered from mental illness. I have experienced suicidal thoughts. I've experienced depression, and to this moment have moments, really dark moments, but I work through it and have been given tools to help me. And what better way to stop a cycle like that than for somebody to become self-aware that that is what's happening on both sides, right? So that lesson is hidden within my life experiences, but through self-awareness, I identified it, the lesson that it was and have applied tools and resources to help me be in a better place. The next ingredient would be lessons intended to help mold and shape you and prepare you, sift you, break you, reshape you into being ready for your purpose in life. For quite some time, I was a frontline supervisor in various departments. And what I recognized was that when it came to performance management, I was really vexed when it came to doing that. I didn't want to do it. I was really good at it, but it was just draining to me. But when people talked to me personally and said, I have a goal to buy a house for my children, that excited me. I'm intrinsically motivated. So what I would do is I would coach and develop them to have consistent behaviors, to then improve their performance, which would give them promotion opportunities, increase larger raises, larger bonuses, so that way they could hit their goals, right? So that's that lesson. Then gifts and talents. Gifts, I feel, is something that comes naturally to you. You don't have to really put any effort into it. It just is what it is. Talents is something that you're good at, but you have to perfect it and you have to work on it for it to be good. Those 4 ingredients mix together and intersect in a way that form a recipe, which creates a dish for me to serve to other people. So to give you a specific example of a gift of mine is making really abstract things really simple, i.e. why I've written books to help people live the best life that they could possibly live. I feel like gifts are given to us through either side or both sides of our families, and sometimes we just inherit gifts, right? Both sides of my families, my maternal grandfather and my paternal grandfather are both pastors or reverends, licensed ministers, whatever you want to call it. So I feel that people who are leaders of churches tend to be gifted in certain areas and talented in certain areas. They may be able to guide people through dark situations. They may be able to listen very keenly to what people say and don't say. They may be able to be emotionally, they have high emotional intelligence. And not saying this is for everybody, right? Because not everybody's the same. But those gifts, I feel, are then passed down, i.e. I inherited them. And then a talent of mine is asking really strategic and intentional questions to get people to self-discover and have aha moments. So when you put all of those things together, you have me becoming self-aware, the first ingredient, which is the lesson intended to help undo the things that have happened to your family lines. You have the lesson of molding and shaping you for purpose, which was me coaching and developing people. Gifts, making really abstract things really easy to understand. Empathy, emotional intelligence, those things. And then a talent of asking really effective or strategic questions to make people self-discover. To me, that fits as a life coach of sorts, or it could be a spiritual advisor of sorts. And what I realize in me pouring that into other people, once I have my cup filled, is that when people apply what we talk about, their life changes drastically. Now, it's not up to me to make people apply it. It's just there for me to help people or lead people there, right? So I hope that by me giving specific examples of how I saw that golden thread or that silver lining through all of those things, that I looked down and saw what my purpose was. Your purpose is always right there, and it is the magnet that pulls you through circumstances and people. When you ask for things intentionally or unintentionally, your purpose is saying, okay, I'm going to pull you to me, whether you like it or not, but I'm also going to pull you through what you're asking for and what you're not asking for, right? So if you ask for a higher paying job, knowingly, then your purpose in life is going to say, okay, you want a higher paying job. I'm going to send circumstances and people to help put you in that position for you to learn lessons and then be ready for me. That may be a little bit more painful than recognizing that circumstances and people give you lessons in being a little bit more intentional with what you ask for. And with that being said, if I know that my purpose is to help people operate at their highest potential through self-awareness, I may ask for, let's say, to meet people who are open to seeing things in a different perspective, right? So randomly, let's just say that I have to make a trip back home to South Carolina. Well, I may be sitting next to somebody. If I talk to them, they might want to see things from a different perspective, but I have to seize that circumstance, which is me going to South Carolina, and interact with that person to pour into them, so that way their life changes. They may not know that they're asking for that, but time and chance align for us to cross paths in a very unexplainable and chaotic type way. If you take anything from this video, remember the 4 ingredients: the lesson of undoing things that happen to your family line, the lesson of molding and shaping you and readying you for your purpose, your gifts, your talents, and then of course all of that is mixed together to serve other people. When you chase your purpose, life will give you everything that you want. Chase your purpose first, life will give you literally anything that you want, just as long as you have the positive intent that you're supposed to. Journaling, reflecting, grounding exercises, which is pulling yourself into the present moment, and meditation helps. When you do those things consistently, helps with you identifying and readying yourself to operate within your purpose. I'm pretty sure that that's everything that I intended to say, and I hope that that's a lot clearer. Is there anything else that I want to say? It's not going to happen overnight. It's an ongoing journey, and I created a playlist in my YouTube videos if you'd like to watch them. I'm Chasing My Purpose is what I dedicated 2022 to, and hopefully if you watch those videos, or if you watch that entire playlist, you'll see that it's an ongoing process. I give other tips and best practices on chasing purpose, so that way it's easier for you. Have a great day.